Hey, this just got Soto. You're listening to the fabulous, amazing, most rockin' show out there. It's the Paulie Z Show. Turn it up and keep it up, motherfuckers.
Yo, 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 welcome back to the Paulie Z Show, and this is episode number 46, and today I have a special guest on who I actually think might be my long-lost older brother. He looks just like me, he sings in the same range as I do, and he's just cool as I am. He's a cool motherfucker, and we actually played, my band ZO2 played with his band a couple years ago in Rhode Island, and that's how we first met. But I've been a fan of his for a while. And, I think you guys would recognize him when I say the name. His name is Jeff Scott Soto. And I'm talking about, this is like a power rock legend. You know, he was well known probably mostly for being with Yngwie Malmsteen and then being in Journey. And now he's with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And today he's on the Paulie Z Show right before he does a TSO show. I think they have a show tonight. So I'm really happy that he made some time to be with me. So let's get Jeff on the phone. Jeff, you there?
I'm here, man.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Listen, I'm excited because this is really cool because, first of all, I was mentioning this before in the intro that, we had played with you guys a few years back with your band, and we met
in Rhode Island.
That's right. So you remember, and the thing is, I remember looking at you on stage, and I was like, "Damn, man, that's like my big brother. We're like twins." Like, we got the hair.
It's pretty funny, man. I remember because normally, especially that tour, it was the first time I actually did a U.S. solo tour. And it was kind of weird because it was just it was literally like a few months after my exit from Journey, and I thought, man, I just left Journey, and I'm going to get all these massive amounts of people coming just because of that alone. And I got my own legions or cult following, whatever. But I thought it was going to be, every club was going to be up to the rafters, and we're doing all these shows, and I'm thinking, oh man, what the hell's going on? We got like 30, 40 people a night. So this is before all the times were tough,
right?
But with support bands, you really, it's a crapshoot that you're actually going to find one that you really like, or that you're going to go, oh shit, they're a threat. And I remember that night, just before we're going on, the guys in my band kept coming back and go, man, these guys are pretty good. I go, yeah, whatever. And then I finally just walked out to see what was doing, and I see this curly-head mop dude just screaming his balls out. I'm just going, oh my God, I hope my voice is on tonight, because that dude's giving me a run for my money.
But it's just funny that, like vocally we're like, if it come from the same sort of influences in the same place, like that hard rock, heavy metal, but like the look, you know what I mean? Like we both got the hair, the big curly fro, and we're tall, and both. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm half Hispanic. My mom is from Colombia.
Yeah, your brother was telling me.
Yeah.
I'm Puerto Rican, so I guess that's where that look kind of comes from.
Exactly. So yeah, we're just two really handsome motherfuckers. That's it.
Oh, you see, I can dig you already.
Yeah. So so now this is really cool. I mean, look, most people know you, I would think, from Yngwie, doing the Yngwie records, and then being in Journey, and now more recently being in TSO, which is kind of how this happened, because my brother is back with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, for those that don't know, and you guys are actually on different coasts, which sucks. You're going to be on the West Coast, he's on the East Coast, but you guys
I'm in the West Coast band, yeah.
And you guys had rehearsals the last couple of weeks, so you've been together for a little bit. And first of all, tell me, what do you think of my brother? What are your impressions of David? Be honest.
Well, the funny thing is, because first of all, I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan of the show. I got turned on to the show because I've been friends with the guys from Steel Panther for like 20 years, individually and collectively. I've known these guys for so long, and they told me that they were on this show called Z-Rock, it's called Z-Rock, right?
Yeah.
You guys are the Z Brothers on the show, Z-Rock. There's so many fucking names, I get confused there. ZO2, Z-Rock, Z Brothers.
ZO2 is the rock band.
And I just saw the one episode, and I thought it was hilarious, so I decided I got to look up the other episodes. I think I missed them at that point. I obviously already missed season 1, so I went out and got the season 1 box set. And I kind of started from the beginning. I didn't want to see anything further because I wanted to catch up and see what was doing on the whole thing.
Right.
And man, I'm a huge fan of you guys. I'm a huge fan of the band, a huge fan of your voice, and a huge fan of the show. I thought it was the funniest thing out there, and I loved it because you can tell that it was authentic. You could tell that you guys were basically just playing you. And so, fast forwarding to when I met your brother a couple of weeks ago, I saw him on stage, and he was doing his thing, and I was like, man, how do I approach him? Do I say, hey, man, Jeff Scott Soto, huge fan of the band? I look like a total douche? Or do I play it cool and let him come up to me and say, yeah, I'm Jeff Scott Soto. Yeah, nice to meet you. I didn't want him to feel like, okay, am I expected to be impressed, or am I just going to think you're a cool dude? So I just said, hey, man, nice to meet you. And it just started from there. We fucking clicked from the get-go. He's a really cool dude.
Well, he's really cool until you've lived with him for 20-something years. Try doing that. Try spending 10 hours a day in a van with him.
Okay.
No,
well, yeah, I got an older brother, so I know what it's like.
Oh, you have an older brother. Okay, so where are you?
Well, my brother's a year older, but I mean, it's the same thing with any family. You get so tight that you get separated. You know, he's like, get the fuck away from me. I love you.
Yes, I love him to death. He's like, my best friend, but I can't stand him at the same time. Like, he drives me crazy. But I would take a bullet for him without even thinking about it.
Right on, man.
But I'd probably be the one shooting him too. So that's the difference. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, you're in a band with him, so
exactly.
You not only have to live with him growing up, but then now you got to see all the other things.
Oh yeah, and because we're close in age, we also shared all our friends. We shared a lot of girls back in the day, and it's like when you just, if you don't have any separation, we'd play basketball together, we did this together, we did everything together. At some point, you need a little space. That's all. So
exactly.
What's
the age separation between you guys?
2 years. I'm older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although everyone thinks he's older than me.
Me and my brother, a year and 2 months, so we're a lot closer.
Wow.
We couldn't be more further apart at times, but we were a lot closer in age.
And is he a musician too?
Yeah, he's a drummer. He's the one that got me. He rolled me into this whole crazy business when he was doing his thing, and everybody in my family's always been musically inclined, but they never went for it in a serious way. My brother was always like the high school stud idol. Everybody's like, "Whoa, Joey Soto," and he was just a badass on campus, and I wanted to be that. So I always could sing. I always played the keyboards, and whatever I picked up, I could play. We picked everything up by ear until we actually got into music classes in school, and that kind of taught us the theory and everything that we were doing. We got all the technical stuff from our teachings there, but we already knew what we were doing, by emulating what we were listening to. So that's how it all began, and I just followed in his footsteps all the way through high school. We were in bands together, and from there, I kind of branched off, and I joined Ingve at 18 years old. I was off on my own by then.
How did that even happen? How'd they find you?
It's a kind of a crazy story, actually. Total Cinderella story, really. I just graduated high school at 17. This would have been June of 1983. God damn it, I'm old. Just graduated high school, and my band, my original band, a band called Canaan, just broke up. And I was having a midlife crisis. Like, what the hell am I going to do? Now I got to find a new band. I'm 17 years old. I'm going crazy here. I'm acting like a 40-year-old about to, what am I going to do with my life?
Right.
And my best friend at the time, he lived in Colorado. He said, man, this is great cover band out here. They need a singer. You'd be perfect for them. You could do all the, Kiss and Judas Priest and all that stuff you guys be playing all the time. You have a blast and blah, 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 make some good money. I thought, sounds like fun. Let me go do that for a while. I went out to live with him in Colorado. We lived in a trailer. And at the beginning, it was great. We did all the covers. I could sing anything back then. I could do all those Def Leppard and Kiss songs and all that stuff. And man, we were getting our thing going on, but one thing led to another. We were losing gigs left and right, and I got to the point where I wasn't making any money. Any money. To the point where we were actually stealing food from 7-Eleven just to eat for that night. A couple Hostess pies and a few hot dogs that we can cook later.
That can't be good for the Puerto Rican image. See, you're feeding the stereotype.
Exactly.
It's feeding the stereotype right now.
Hey, you said we're going to talk about food, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Stealing food. You can tell me what's your favorite food to steal. All right, keep going.
So I'll try to cruise along with the story because anyway, about 3 months after that, I was basically, this is it. I got to go back home. Nothing's happening, and I'm not making any money. And I just called my mom and said, Mom, I got to come home and try to find a band there locally. And she said, obviously your room's ready. You're always welcome at home. So literally that week, we were just at another bud's house, and we're just watching MTV, just hanging out. And there was Mark Goodman on MTV. He had the same hair as us back then. He comes on the screen, and he says, Yngwie Malmsteen has just left the band Alcatraz, and he's doing a solo album, and he's looking for a lead singer, and it could be you. He pointed at the screen, and obviously he was pointing at me. And they flashed an address on the screen, and all my friends said, oh, man, Yngwie. I was a huge fan back then. I loved Alcatraz. I loved them in Steeler. They said, man, Jeff, you got to send your tape in. And this band Kanan I was telling you about, I was 16 when we did our demo. I was like, they're not going to listen to me, man. Are you kidding me? Even at 18, they're not going to listen to me. But 16, and because they all loved this demo, and they said, please, you got to send it. And so they talked me into it. But I didn't even have the $1.33 that it cost to send it to L.A. And so the friend said, come on, we're going to the post office right now. We're sending your tape. Let's go.
We're stealing some stamps, damn it.
Photo. I had no press package or nothing like that. So I sent a cassette and a shitty little Polaroid, and we sent it off to L.A. And about a week later, I was already heading back and sitting on a Greyhound bus for 3 days, getting to L.A. And I settled back in. I'm like, that's not going to happen. That only happens in the movies. Lo and behold, I get a call from Yngwie's manager's secretary saying that Yngwie wanted to meet me. He's recording down at the record plant. Can I go meet him down there this weekend? And I'm just gobsmacked. I'm just going, you got to be fucking kidding me. Of course, So I head out there. I meet Yngwie. He's kind of a prick. He's in the middle of doing a solo on one of his first album. There's only 2 vocals on that album. He's kind of like, yeah, I heard your tape. Yeah, you sounded good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, guys, take 5. He takes me into this little room. You got to stop me, man. I'll keep gabbing all fucking day.
No, this is good stuff. This is good stuff.
Okay. So he pulls me in this little room with an acoustic guitar, and he plays me this melody. It's a song from the actual album, from that first album. I never heard it before because it was the first time I'm hearing this. So he's going, he goes, okay, I don't have any melodies for the verse. I don't have any lyrics, but here's the chorus. So he's playing the verse, and I'm kind of humming a mock verse, and goes, yeah, let's get a pen and paper, write down some lyrics. I'm writing just some whatever comes to mind that fits whatever we're working on, and then he gives me the chorus idea lyrically and melodically, and I write that down. We sing it for like 20 minutes back and forth, going at each other, acoustically. He goes, okay, man, let's record this. And I'm like, what? You're shitting me. Apparently, they already had a full version with the band and everything, and they set up the microphone in the other room, and he said, go for it. You got lyrics, you got your melodies, let's do it.
What?
And I was shitting my pants, man. Shitting my pants. So I still went for it. I'm hitting that really high A at the that screech, that scream. And I could see the manager through the glass going crazy, jumping up like a monkey, like, that's our guy, that's our guy. And Yngwie's just keeping his cool. The guy is cool as a cucumber. He always has been, always will be. And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you sounded good, man. I think we should get together and come down to the house, and we'll work on some more stuff. And of course, I'm amped. I'm amped just to meet the guy. And we did 3 weeks of this, and then finally I get a phone call, not from him. I got a call again from the secretary saying, so Jeff, I need to get some information from you, social security number, do you have a passport, and blah, blah, blah. And I give her everything she's asking for. She goes, oh, and by the way, welcome to the band.
Wow. Jesus.
I get weird inductions to things that you would think they would be a little more formal about.
Yeah, well, I wanted to tell you face to face, but I'm going to tell you now on the podcast. Jeff, we want you to replace me in ZO2. Welcome to the band.
That's never going to happen, man.
Oh, you never know, man.
You know what?
If I decide to go...
I'd only do it if you stayed.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll say. Well, how about this? Why don't you go out? You come in, you sing the stuff, and then I just get the checks. We could do that.
Ah, you see?
Oh.
You're one of those.
Oh, wait a second. I'm not helping the stereotype on Jews right now, am I? Okay. No.
I didn't want to say it. So you're only half a Jew, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, my mom converted, so technically we're full Jewish.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Then you're definitely misrepresenting there.
Yes. I'm not helping.
Or representing, however you want to look at it.
Oh, well, it is what it is. Listen, when it comes time to go to court, all right, who do you want by your side? One of us. So you can make fun of us all you want. Yes, you can make fun of us all you want.
I'm gonna be hiring a Puerto Rican lawyer. That's for sure.
That's right. But if I need someone to go get me some, to protect me down this dark alley, I'm calling you. That's it. Because I don't trust my Jewish friends. Me, I'm 6'2". See, I got the best of both worlds because I'm Spanish and Jewish. So
you see.
Yeah, see, I got a little bit.
6'3", so I got an inch on you.
You got 6'3". Well, an inch that way, maybe not the other way.
Hey, take it easy.
Wait, forget about it.
Like I said, I'm Puerto Rican. We're blessed in many ways.
That's true. Yeah, you probably got me on that one too. That's all right. So listen, how funny is this? You were also born and raised in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, well, not raised. We moved to LA when I was 8, but I was born in Bay Ridge. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, 8 years. I mean, that's still a good amount of your childhood. Where in Bay Ridge, if you don't mind me asking, like specifically, what?
You know what? I was too young to remember. I could ask my mom, and she'd give me all the details. But when we moved to LA, I was still like, "What? New York, LA? What's going on here?"
So
I don't have. I have memories of my childhood. The blocks, and the block parties, and all that stuff, and all the good food and all the fun we used to have, playing stoop ball and all that. But as far as the area, I don't really remember, man.
Well, all right. Well, you're still a Brooklyn boy. That's my point. The point of this segue was
and it's so true because, first of all these guys in TSO, everybody's like, oh, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. What are these guys from Siberia? Is from Russia? No, everybody's from Long Island.
Right.
Everybody's from the city, Long Island, New Jersey. It's amazing. So I could be away from New York for 30 years. As soon as I hang out with these guys or even talk to somebody like you, the accent just starts pouring out.
Yeah.
My mother still has the New York accent. She couldn't iron it out. But when I was a little kid, I had this best friend of mine, always made fun of the way I said walk and talk and dog. And he said, no, it's walk, talk, dog. So he ironed my shit out. And I'm a chameleon. As soon as I get around my fellow East Coasters, it just all starts pouring out.
Yeah, I have that problem too because everybody says that. Well, like when we were on tour, I remember as a kid, I thought everyone was like us in New York. It's just because I never left New York. Yeah, and then you leave and you realize we're the minority. Like the rest of the country is nothing like us. They don't talk like us. They're not as fast paced as us. They're just not as upfront about how they're feeling. They're all polite and everything, and they love the accent. They're like, oh, can you say something? I'm like, what do you want me to say? And they're like, oh, I'll do that again. I'm like, what? Do what?
As soon as you say it, they start cracking up.
Yeah.
They think, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm laughing at them because they're like, y'all so funny, that accent. And I'm like...
Yeah, exactly.
So do you so you consider yourself more of a West Coast guy, though? Like is that your... You know what I mean? Like, do you...
But you know what? I guess I would in general, but I've lived all around the world. I've traveled the world, so many times. I don't really like to consider myself anything except for international.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, like I said, I'm a chameleon. I can adapt anywhere, and I can be in London for 6 months and just completely adapt. I won't start talking like them, but I lived in Colorado. I lived in Florida. Lived in LA, New York. It's
really wow.
Of course, I just mentioned all the U.S. stuff, but in my travels, I spend so much time in, like, say, Spain or South America, and I adapt, man. I fit in, and I love change. I get bored of just the same old, same old. I love trying new things out and adapting to new things. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm dying to live somewhere else. I'm trying to find a reason to get out and live in LA because, like, we're born and raised in Brooklyn our whole life, and we'll probably be here the rest of our life unless I make a conscious change. And it's definitely, if you're not used to it, it's tough. It's tough to, like, adapt to a whole nother situation and be like, okay, now it's so much easier to just be like, okay, I know this place, I know what to expect, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like you, like, I have that urge to be somewhere else, to try this, to try that, So that must be awesome.
Well, I
that
got
you
a
got to go.
badass house that's empty like 11 months out of the year that I can rent you a room. So if you
Where?
ever need it, you ever need a place in LA, let me know.
I do. I'm going in January, actually. I need it for the month. I'm
Get
actually
out.
looking. Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding. I'm going. It's so funny because I'm
kidding.
actually trying to go by coastal, and I'm trying to see if I can find a way to afford both coasts, because right now it's just, times are tough. So just trying to take care of the New York rent has been challenging. And I'm like, okay, if there's a way I can maybe apartment swap or do something that I can go back and forth, go out there and try to make something happen out there for ZO2. And even for me, for acting wise too, I've been getting the acting bug and I wanted to do more stuff. So it's so funny you mentioned that because I'm going, dude. I'm going and I'm looking for a place.
Oh, we got to talk then.
Yeah, we got to talk.
We won't talk details on the air. That'll be boring as shit for the listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the, all right, so the dishwasher, how do we turn the dishwasher on? And, okay, what's the code?
The pool's heated. And,
Yeah.
you got a nice sunroom if you want to sit there. That's
really?
the best part. I mean, if you're a sun worshiper, I got the pool. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, my
Go
God.
out there and just loving it.
You have no idea. You just like made my day because I've been freaking out. What I got to figure out, well, we'll talk off the air, but what my biggest problem is transportation. Like if you only go for 3 weeks or a month, is it better to rent, like have a monthly rental, or is it better just to buy something and then leave it somewhere? I mean, but that's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's what I'm doing now. Sorry to cut you off. That's what I used to lease. Yeah. And basically the car would sit in the garage for the entire time I'm on the road or away or whatever. And I got to the point where it was actually cheaper just to rent you get great rates. And I got people too. I got people that'll help me with monthly family deals and all that stuff. And I can hook you up.
Look at that, people.
It definitely turned out, because even with the insurance, I turned down the insurance because my God, we're talking domestic shit now.
Yeah.
I put it on my American Express card and they give you full coverage on the car. So
yeah.
Paying for it with the American Express, and if you're paying like say $600 for the month for a car, I mean, what are you going to get? Where are you going to get a car that you're paying or actually over $750 a month by leasing it or buying it or I don't know. I find it so much easier. You fill it up, you return it. You got to go to the airport anyways. You drop it off at the airport and you go.
Right. No, it's not bad. Well, listen, we'll continue this because, like you said, right, people are going to be like. So let's hold on. Let's spice it up a little bit. Let's spice
it. Express. What the fuck's going on here? Let's talk about Rockstar.
Yeah, come on. This is Jeff Scott Soto, man. This is not like, it's not like my freaking, cousins or whatever that we can talk about family stuff. Let's talk about.
I know. It becomes a personal call after a while, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, we'll do that later. Here's what I want to know. You've traveled the world. Right. You've and you've been everywhere. You've done this and that. What I need to know is groupies, baby. This is what I need to know. In your travels, and you don't have to tell me like now or when it was or whatever, because everybody has their time when they were with someone and they don't want to whatever. But I'm sure in your career you were single at some point and you must have been able to enjoy the fruits of your success. So I'd like to know, first of all, where would you say was the hottest girls? Like when you tour, where would you be like, oh, I'm excited to go there because the girls are slamming?
Well, first of all, I got to burst your bubble as far as the whole girl situation, because I was always in a relationship when I finally got out of this whole kind of metal stigma. When I was with Ingrid, for instance, the audience was predominantly male audiences, and the girls that were there looked like some of the guys, and you wouldn't touch them anyways. So it took me a while to kind of get out of that whole world. I was kind of stuck in that guitar player singer's world, and I tried to lighten my whole image and everything with this band called Eyes back in like 1990, because for 5 years I was just known as this metal screamer guy,
Right.
And I joined this kind of more poppy, glammy looking band called Eyes, and we did more of a kind of a Foreigner, Def Leppard kind of vibe, but the band never took off. So it's been a slow progression to finally get into the world or to the league of being able to play, I don't want to say cock rock, but kind of being attracted to the opposite sex and having them come to your shows.
Yeah,
I always dreamed of Bon Jovi's audience and Motley Crue's audience back in the day when they were bringing in, when they were in their heyday, and I never had that. I was in front of Metallica's and Slayer's audience.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. Well, it's funny, yeah. That's because that's.
I was either married or in a serious relationship when I was doing the stuff that was drawing all the girls, and I never really indulged in that kind of thing. But if you're asking me like where the best women are, man, that's a hard one because they're everywhere.
Yeah, but
I guess I got to say between Italy, Brazil, and believe it or not, Bulgaria.
Bulgaria? Really?
Yeah, Bulgaria.
Huh.
It's the Eastern European women. I got to tell you, you've probably heard it before. Maybe you heard the stereotype, but there's something about them that just separates them from the rest of the world, and it's another class in its own.
Well, see, that's the perfect answer to the question. Like, you know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff I want to know because I would have never known that. I never heard that. So that's a great answer because it's like, okay, now I'm curious. I'm going to go out and find myself some Bulgarian girl and put it to the test.
Well, you got to be careful with the those Russian bride things because that's I guess considered Eastern European too, and they're obviously they're looking for something else.
Yeah. Well, it's funny growing up in Brooklyn. Because I grew up in Borough Park, which is very Hasidic Jewish neighborhood, and then now I'm in Bensonhurst for a long time. But like a lot of our friends from Brighton Beach and Ocean Parkway, we had a lot of Russian friends because, like you said, also they were fans of metal. And our first band, me and David had a band that was more Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, fantasy based heavy metal, and we hung out with a lot of Russian people and a lot of Russian girls. So I had a lot of experience with them. And you're right, there is a difference. They have like I don't know if I want to say like a confidence and a sexiness to them that's different than others. They're very you know what I mean? Like
I agree.
Oh, and they're wild. That's what I like too. It was like no nonsense. It was just
that's the thing though. Sometimes the personalities can kind of throw you because you want their looks to match the personality, and the personality can be a little hard at times.
Yeah.
Or it's so different that you can take it the wrong way if you're not ready for it. But if you're a chameleon, you kind of just adapt to things, and it's perfect.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Like it can be a little hard. They're a little bit, off-putting and intimidating.
Because they don't know any different. They don't realize that being hard is that they're being, they're not being that soft kind of dainty beach bum girly kind of thing, Barbie girl type of thing.
Right.
They don't. That's not their thing. They don't know that world, but they do know that they're definitely hotter than a lot of the people around them.
They're as cold as ice. So, all right. Well, then I got my answer. So, all right. Now, let's talk about, before we go into our food, is there any other crazy stories or anything really interesting in the rock world that you want to bring to my attention that would be like, this is the most awesome story? Or should we go into our food?
It's so funny. When I get asked that question, I draw a blank. It's always the same thing. And then when I hang up, I go, oh, man, I should have said that. Right. Oh, I should have talked about that one.
Listen, Scott.
I mean, a lot of my stories, I would have to throw people under the bus, and I'm not into that. I'm not into talking bad about people, especially in a public forum. But a lot of my stories that have to do with, oh, my God, you should have seen how this dude took care of this situation and how he handled that. And it's the great stories, but it's not something I would want to.
Right. It involves other people.
On somebody,
Well, here's what you got to do, Jeff. You got to do this. Do what I do when I go to a restaurant and I eat the food and then I can't remember what I had the last time I was there. You got to start writing shit down. I got my iPhone. I pull out my thing and I write down, okay, blah, 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 blah. So now when you think of a story, when we hang up, you got to write it down. So the next interview, they'll ask you, and then you'll have a perfect story that doesn't throw anyone under the bus. See? That's how you do it.
But that's kind of cheating, isn't it?
No.
Those kind of things should be spur of the moment, and they should be like David Lee Roth was the king of this. I mean, you could ask the guy anything, and he'll give you the most amazing, funny, adventurous story. It's like he's like Uncle Remus or something.
Yeah, but the thing is, how do you know that he's coming up with that? I would bet you that someone like him, because he was a master of it, I bet you that guy went over those stories in his head. I bet you he was prepared.
You
know what I mean? It's like thinking about a solo.
I would imagine that a lot of that stuff was kind of premeditated and like, okay,
sure.
If they ask me about this, I'm going to be ready for that answer, and they ask me about that.
Well, that's the whole point of spontaneity.
I need to study that side more.
Right. It's like, but it's no different than playing a solo, and improvising. You can't just improvise. Is it cheating if you practiced improvising? Not really. because you're preparing for
Okay,
that
that's true.
point. Yeah, so all you're doing is preparing yourself, and then when the moment comes, you would have all this in your head because you wrote it down and you prepared. That's all. That's what I think.
Stop being right, Paulie. Stop it.
I can't help it though, but I
You're
can't.
absolutely right, though. You're absolutely
I can't
right.
help it. But you think? Wait, hold on. You think I'm right? You should. This is what. Going back to David for a second. He's a Cancer. He thinks he's right on everything. So you're almost lucky that you're not on the same.
Jesus.
Oh my God,
Okay.
dude, you have no idea.
Now I know I would kill him.
Yeah, you would
If I had
kill
to
him.
live with him, I'd kill him.
You'd kill him because he's right on everything. And not only is he right, but then he has to make you understand that he's right and acknowledge he's right. So that's a 4-hour debate for him. He's like, you know what he should have been really instead of a bass player? He should have been a psychiatrist. You know, he's
Amazing.
Yeah, he's like perfect with like, you know, getting to people to think his way and asking questions like, but why? Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Don't you see that that's not working? All right, so we're gonna go into food now. Okay, so Mr. Puerto Rican, you must have some great food stuff for me because the Spanish we're known for our food, like the Italians.
Well, hell yeah. I mean, arroz con habichuelas. I mean, they call them frijoles in California. Never got a hold of that when you're talking about beans.
Right.
The rice and beans, the arroz con pollo, you know, the rice and chicken, and I mean, Puerto Rican food is so amazing, but I got to stay away from that stuff because, you know, I'm Puerto Rican. You know, most of my family is 6 foot wide, you know, instead of 6 foot tall. So that stuff catches up to you, especially when you're my age. You know, I'm sad to say I'm 45 tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
And,
oh shit! Happy birthday!
I'm living at the gym every day because I know I'm going to go the other way if I go.
Well, but don't you wish sometimes? I don't know if tell me if I'm the only one that does this, but don't you sometimes wish that you weren't in a rock band and that you were just like behind a desk so you could be 400 pounds and you could just eat everything and not have to.
No, you know what I wish? I wish I was the guy on Man vs. Food. That's the job I want.
Ultimate job.
Where you don't have to worry about how you look. You go around all these amazing places and just eat your guts out. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love that show. Every time I could eat a 3-course meal and watch that show, and I'll be hungry again.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I hate him because he took my idea. Like I've been talking about doing something like that for years. And I always wanted to do something like that. A show where we pigged out. It was actually the band. It would have been the 3 of us going and pigging out or challenging other bands or something like that. But and then I still want to do.
You wouldn't look as svelte as you look, man.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. I can, you know, I svelte.
You can put it down, huh?
Dude, you have no idea. Oh, you don't know. I mean, you only saw it on the show, but dude, you have no idea. And it's to the point where it's so bad the way we eat. And I don't say just me. It's we because the whole band is like this. You
guys are all skinny. What the hell, man?
Well, because
I eat a salad and I gain 5 pounds.
No, what you got to do is you got to, in between your pigging out, you have to like really be disciplined and you got to work out and you got to try to eat right so that when you do it, your body is, you know, it kind of rejects it. It's like, yeah, you know. But if you do it all the time, it gets used to it and then it retains the fat. But
yeah, that's true.
But the point is, even besides the way you look, it's like the actual your health. You know, I'm worried about me. I mean, I'm well, you're going to be 45, so I'm over 10 years younger than you, but still, I'm already feeling the difference between now and like 5 years ago. It's like how much harder it is to burn off that extra cheeseburger or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to really.
Funny, I didn't get into the whole fitness thing until I was about your age, and I've been at it nonstop. I mean, I can't skip a day. If I skip a day at the gym, I feel like the biggest schlub, and I won't do it. I have such a discipline to go to the gym. Even if I wake up and go, oh my God, I don't want to go. I just went this morning. I forced myself up. It's kind of my routine, especially on the road. You force yourself up so you can get the gym. It kind of wakes you up, gets everything rejuvenated, get the endorphins flowing. And actually, it helps my voice as well because especially we got these matinees, we got 3 and 4 o'clock shows in the afternoon. I'm a nighttime singer. You know, I sleep till noon. I start singing at midnight. That's my thing.
Yeah.
But I got to get my voice warmed up and ready to go to sing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I turn the vampire around and I get up in the morning. I get to the gym and get everything up and running. So.
What do you do for warm up?
It's not all downhill, man.
What do you do? Jeff, what do you do for warm-up? I'm just curious as a singer.
My old technique was the worst. That's the one that was killing me, and I didn't know it because it worked back then. Back where, in the early 90s, to warm up for a show, I just scream into a towel for like 2 minutes. That's how
What?
Steve Walsh did it in Kansas. I remember we did a show with him, and I heard this. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Somebody's getting killed. I look outside the dressing room, and Steve Walsh screaming into a towel. I'm going, oh my God! I go, dude, I do that too.
What the hell is that?
I was with this band called Boogie Nights. That's how I know the guys from Steel Panther. We were with the same organization. What they were doing with the kind of the hair metal genre of the variety show type of thing. I was with a disco band doing the same thing, you know, with the whole polyester and froze and singing all the disco songs. So I love all that shit. I grew up on the whole 70s disco vibe and Bee Gees and all that stuff. And I still love it to this day. But I was back with these guys, and I completely lost my train of thought.
What you were talking about? So your new technique to warm up. What's your new technique?
Oh, right. But with these guys, we were doing 3 to 4 nights a week for like 4 or 5 years straight. And I mean, I'm singing all these Bee Gees, Donna Summer, all them girl songs, Don't Leave Me This Way, I Will Survive, all that stuff. And it got to the point where I was wrecking my voice because I never had any technique. I never had any training. And I developed nodes in my throat. And I had to go under the knife to get them removed in 2001.
Oh, no.
So from that, the doctor told me, listen, you got to do at least a month of vocal coaching because I don't want to see you back in here. And somebody's going to teach you how to do the proper breathing, the proper techniques of warming up, blah, blah, blah. So that's the first time I ever took any lessons, any kind of training. And people think that I went to these master classes or whatever to do what I do. And it's always been my teacher's always been the radio. You know, I grew up listening to radio and emulating my favorite singers and all that. You know, listening to Freddie Mercury, Steve Perry, and all that.
Right, but now
that's how I got my voice.
But now you have an actual routine, so you take care of it.
Now I do, yeah.
Okay,
and actually, even when I joined Journey, I went to Steve Perry's coach because my first 3 weeks with the band was a bit rough. I was doing weekend gigs with the Boogie Nights, and during the week I was recording this Talisman album, this band I was with for about 19 years until last year when the bass player and founder of the band took his life and kind of nipped that one in the bud.
Wow.
You know, rest in peace. But I was recording all week and doing weekend gigs, and then I get the call from Neil to join Journey, and I was wrecked, man. I went out on the road wrecked, and I didn't really have a routine that worked for me to get me through that first leg of the tour. So we had 2 weeks off, and I went straight to Perry's coach, and the guy, he got all that tenor stuff right back out of me that I'd lost for so long.
Really? Wow. Well,
Yeah.
you know, listen.
I do a little warm-up thing that works for me. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No,
if we were in person, I'd let you speak because I can't tell when you start speaking.
Right. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, these things are so much better when we're in person, but it's like, you know, I don't have the luxury of having people, you know, be in New York all the time. So that's why, you know, we do it like this. But honestly, I'm glad we get to do this as opposed to nothing because, you know, at least we have this conversation and the people get to hear these stories. And, you know, I'm getting great feedback from the podcast. Everyone's loving it. So, you know, and the next time you're in town, we'll have you back in and maybe we'll go to some Spanish restaurant.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll pig out on some arroz con pollo and some steamed yuca. Yeah. Now, look, quick question.
I love the street corner knishes and the hot dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can beat that. Nobody can beat the food in New York. I'll tell you straight up. I've been around the world. I love sushi. I love Brazilian churrascaria. I love Argentinian steaks. I mean, I've eaten around the world, but the best food in the world is right there in New York because you got everything.
But they say in L.A.
They say second call.
They say in L.A. that they have great food. In some ways better than New York because it's fresher. Everything is right there, like the fish, the produce.
Oh yeah, sure. I can't take it away from L.A. But what I'm talking about is all the stuff that I grew up with, all that this authenticity that comes with the way New Yorkers prepare their food, whether it be Chinese food or Italian. There's a certain way it's done there that can't be replicated around the world. And you can go to a place in L.A. that says Brooklyn's Pizza, New York's Finest, or, you know, authentic, but it's not the same.
No,
man. I don't know what it is. It's
terrible.
something in the air. It's in the water.
It's the attitude,
totally
baby.
Different.
It's the attitude.
Exactly.
We cook. It's that special sauce that you can't buy in a bottle. It's called attitude. You know what I mean? Like when you're making the pizza.
A pretzel or whatever, you know, those nuts that they do right there in the corner, just in a little machine in the middle of the street.
You got
pollution and everything going in the air. There's something about it that just you can't replicate that.
I just picture like the cooks, you know, in New York, and they're kneading the bread or they're stirring the sauce and they're like, "Hey, forget about it, motherfucker." You know, like it's just the attitude. It's like, whoa, hey, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Oh, and that goes in. See, that seeps into the food, and that's what makes it taste great. I have a quick question for you. So what is it? What is unique about Puerto Rican food? Like when I think of Latin food, you know, rice and beans and rotisserie chicken and bistec and yuca and you know, plantains and things like that.
You're killing me
Empanadas.
right now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what is unique? What makes Puerto Rican, like what's specifically Puerto Rican, which might not be.
Bro, it's an
Good.
easy answer. It's all made with love. That's why.
Oh God,
I mean,
there you go.
yeah,
Here we
you see,
go. Give me the where's our
it's not
sappy
a trick
music?
question. It's all made with love. You're gonna segue into some music.
I'm getting the violins because the Puerto Rican pride is coming out. No, is there
I tell you,
anything
man,
that's specifically?
it's traditions. It's just passed down from traditions of, you know, my mother learned from my grandfather was a chef. You know, growing up, I remember he used to make better food than my mom did, and that's where she learned how to cook.
But is there anything
And
specific? I'm saying, like, is there something specific that is considered? This is like a Puerto Rican dish or food that maybe is not necessarily. Maybe people confuse it with Spanish or Brazilian. Because there are, you know, there is a difference between Spanish food, actual like Colombian food, and Brazilian food. You know, the spices and certain dishes that they have. That's what I'm trying to say. Is there anything specific? Wait.
And the same way it's prepared and all that.
Wait, you have no idea what just happened. We lost you for a second, and you sounded like this.
Sorry, man. I had to move over. I had to move over from one seat to the other in the bus. I must have lost signal.
Right. All right. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Yeah, I was talking about Cuban food. That Cuban food is probably the one that's the most similar in as far as ingredients and as far as the same kind of items, I would imagine.
Okay.
But I can go to a Cuban restaurant and get the same kind of stuff that my mom would make me on a Sunday afternoon.
And what? Give me an idea. I always ask my guests this. Give me a place, and preferably within the States, because obviously most of the listeners are, although we do have them around the world, but most of them I think are in the United States. Give me a place anywhere in the country, a restaurant that you think is like one of your favorites, like a go-to place that you like when you're in town. You're going there, and tell me what you order. Go. Aha! If you wrote it down in your iPhone, you should have written this stuff down. See?
You see, that's all that preparation thing. I was asking, do you want Spanish food, or are you just saying in general?
No,
my favorite restaurant.
No, in general, it doesn't have to be Spanish. Just a place that you, you know, you frequent, that you love, you anticipate, go into.
For both health reasons and for and just because it's so damn tasty, I love sushi. And there's a place that a friend of mine owns, Ahi. It's in the valley. It's on Ventura Boulevard and Coldwater Canyon. It's called Ahi Sushi, and this guy is a genius. But the things he comes up with, he's got his own little creations. He's got the basic stuff, but he's got a lot of things on there you won't find in most places. And it's just anytime I'm in town, I gotta go there. When I'm back in LA, it's the first place I hit.
Really?
I absolutely love this place. It's a cool restaurant. It's not too expensive, but he always makes me something different when I go there, and I love this place.
And what do you order? What, like, if I went there, what should I get?
I would start with it's kind of like it's a wonton with spicy tuna, and he mixes it with a an avocado spicy tuna thing, and he gives you these wontons, or you can have them with these crispy rice cakes, and it's just a bomb. It's unbelievable. There's a spicy tuna and everything all mixed up with his special sauce that he makes. So I usually start with that. Then he's got this crunchy Alaskan roll that again, I don't know what he does with it, but it's just phenomenal. There's this spicy sauce. It's unbelievable, man. I can't even think right now because I'm just tasting this in my mouth. And then he does this other thing that's perfect for people like me, always trying to keep the carbs down and more of the protein. It's what is it called? It's a roll that he makes. Instead of using rice, he replaces it with cucumber. So
Oh,
he makes a
cool.
roll with cucumber on the outside. Oh man, I forgot the name of it.
Cucumber roll?
But it's no carbs. All it is it's just cucumber on the outside with the fish in the middle and the avocado, and it's killer.
Oh, man.
It's killer.
Dude, I know this
If
may
you're
sound crazy.
you gonna be in LA in January?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm taking you there.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah. Are you going to be there? Are you going to be back in LA in January after the tour?
We're done here on the 30th of December, and I'm heading back there. I want to stick around to go to Nam, and then I got to go to Brazil, which is another one of my favorite foods in the world. It's like I was telling you earlier, it's the churrascaria, the Brazilian barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, there's
yeah.
nothing like it. Nothing
It's
like
insane. I just have I actually go into those places with just a green shirt on, so that I don't have to keep lifting the thing up. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm like, you keep your ping pong paddle, all right? Just look at my shirt.
That's great. I got to do that next time. What a brilliant idea.
Thank you. All right, well, listen, Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show, especially on a day that you have 2 shows, right? You have a matinee today and a night show, so you're going to get prepared, right?
Yeah. We first show's coming up in 2 hours, and then we roll it again at 8 o'clock.
Well, look, all right. Well, listen, catch Jeff Scott Soto on the West Coast Trans-Siberian Orchestra Tour, and if you're on the East Coast, you can catch my brother on the tour. And is there anything you want to plug while I have you on here? Website or new things coming out?
The best, yeah. The website is just jeffscottsoto.com. I mean, that's the best place I got tons of audio, video clips. It gives you obviously news updates on what I'm doing, tour dates, and I'm always doing something. It's just nonstop with me. Even my kid is like, when are we going to have some quality time, Dad? He's 22 now. So it's crazy that a lot of things have been happening with my life, and a lot of things that are coming up that are exciting that I can't really talk about just yet. But
okay.
It's going to be an exciting year coming up, and just visit jeffscottsoto.com, and most importantly, go see ZO2 whenever they're playing out. I know you guys are down for a couple months because David's gone, but I can't wait to see you guys again. I love your band.
Thank you so much. Well, we got to get you up on stage with us one of these days, so we'll try to time it so that you can
maybe
jump
we'll
up.
do something. We were texting each other before all this little podcast stuff was coming about, and we were talking about possibly recording something together, which I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and and we could do like the cover of the record could be like the cover of that movie Step Brothers, where it's just me and you next to each other.
Well, we got to wear 70s clothes.
Yeah.
Look like complete dorks.
Long lost
because
brothers.
We have the hair that'll make us look like dorks.
I know. We got to do something, man. We got to do like a commercial for Pantene or something.
I'd be honored to do something with you guys because I really dig your band. I'm a big fan of the show and a big fan of the band and your voice and everything about it. So it was an honor even just to be asked to do this with you today.
Oh, well, thank you. Listen, it's an honor to have you on here. Big fan of your stuff too, and it's nice to be able to talk like this and just relax and not have like an agenda, and just get into the good stuff. So I'm glad you had the time to do it, and we'll do it again. I promise we'll do it again. Hopefully next time we can work it out where you can be in the studio. I'm probably going to be doing some podcasts out there, so maybe we can even do a follow up and we can go to the restaurant.
We can do that, or I think I'm going to be in the city in late February next year. So we can either do it in LA or we can do it in New York.
Okay. Sounds good. So,
awesome, brother.
All right. Well, everybody, Jeff Scott Soto. Woohoo! Woo! All right. Thank you so much and have a great show tonight. And we'll talk later. All right.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Thanks, man. All right. So there you go. That's my my fellow Latin Brooklyn brother, Jeff Scott Soto. With the same hair, by the way, so maybe we are brothers. Who knows? Maybe I'm not the oldest in my family. Anyway, all right, so now we're going to finish up this episode with a little food review, and you know who I got to call for that. I can't do this alone anymore. I got to call Dr. Pastrami. Doctor, are you on the phone?
Yes, I'm here. How's everybody in Pastrami land doing today?
We're all doing good. We're doing good. We are cured and salted and ready to be eaten.
Yeah, very brined.
Yes. So you and I went to a place in Brooklyn that you had recommended, a pastrami. Well, technically not a pastrami place. Do you want to explain where we went to the people?
Well, we went to a place that bills themselves as a Montreal Jewish delicatessen in Brooklyn. Apparently, Jews migrated to Canada and brought their pastrami techniques with them. Although it got changed a little bit, and now they decided to open this up in New York City. I have mixed reviews about this, which I'm sure you and I will discuss.
Well, let's tell everyone what we're talking about. It's a place called Mile End.
Yes.
Mile
End, yes.
Yeah, which is I don't like the name even to begin with because it's like a weird. It's hard to say, but I'm sure there's got to be some sort of Canadian story behind that. And it's on Hoyt Street in Brooklyn, New York. And let's see what happened. We went there and we shared a couple things. First of all, explain to them it's actually not pastrami and it's not brisket. What do they call it?
Well, I don't know. Calling this place a delicatessen is like calling a janitor a custodial engineer. I was not pleased at just the whole makeup of the place. To me, a deli has a certain spice about it, even as a place, and a rhythm to it.
Yeah.
Did you really feel? I mean, I guess I am so pro Katz's that I'm a little jaded.
Yes.
But just the way they ran the whole thing was more like a little neighborhood bistro trying to be a deli, as opposed to a bona fide qualified deli. That's why I say that. Even in their cutting techniques, even in their serving techniques, even in their whole demeanor.
I agree. I mean, but we don't know. Maybe in Canada, that's how they, that could be the way the delis are in Canada. Who knows? I mean, I agree with you, though. There is a certain, it's like when you go to a pizzeria, it's like there's a flow to the way you order. You go up, you got the counter, you'd be like, I get a cheese slice and a Sicilian, it's like, okay, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this was a little bit more like, I wasn't, it didn't get me in the mood to eat what I was eating. I felt like I might have gotten maybe a salad or something more healthy because it was kind of bistro-like. It didn't feel like a deli. So you're definitely right.
Yeah, and they are strong to point out that this is called smoked meat, not pastrami.
And not brisket either.
And not briskets, which made me actually excited in the sense that I thought I was going to get a hybrid. Now, having said that, I believe you and I had our likes and dislikes, and I believe we agreed on it. It's just that, to me, the dislikes were strong enough to really hinder this place as a total recommendation in the deli world out there.
Well, okay, I can agree with that. I think if you're going there thinking you're going to get like an authentic deli experience, I would 100% agree with the doctor that it is. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get the feeling like if you went to Katz's or Sarge's or any of these type of places. But having said that, I will say that on my list of things to order and don't order, almost pretty much everything we ate there I thought was really good. So it would be something that I would recommend. I think you kind of said it. It's more of a neighborhood place. It's not a place I would travel to like I would for Katz's. But if I lived in that area, I'd probably be there a lot.
Well, I find it strange, first of all, before we ordered, that they charged for a sour pickle. Now, to me, that's a no-no. That's always a freebie in a deli, especially when the pickle tasted like it was cured in Listerine.
Yes. Yeah, well, I think that was only yours, though, because mine wasn't so bad.
Yeah, but when the lady said we use like a yogurt tofu, like a yuppie thing or whatever, it was like, come on, this is a deli. We pride ourselves on lip smacking sour pickles.
Yeah, you were arguing with her too. You were like, listen, I grew up in the Lower East Side. I know what a pickle is. This is not a pickle.
Yeah, I mean, it's like lime green is not a pickle. It has to be like, I could tell right from the skin color and the texture of it. Having said that, I think it was interesting. And instead of the steak fries that Katz gives, they had this little thin fry that actually had one side had the skin.
Yeah.
I thought that was different because sometimes if you have a big sandwich, you force yourself to finish Katz's fries, whereas this was just enough and bite-sized.
Yeah, well, they were good too. They were hand cut. They were maybe it could be salty. I liked it. It was good for me, but I know people that might be sensitive to salt might think that it would be a little salty. But I thought the flavor was good. Like it had that very fresh hand cut taste to it.
Served on a hot ceramic plate to keep it warm.
Yeah, that was cool.
But I don't like where the half of my pastrami sandwich was cold by the thing. They did not have enough cutters. This made me also realize how to set up at Katz's. Again, not to keep bringing up Katz's, but I realize now why you go to one section for your sandwich, one section for your potatoes, one section for your pickles, because this way that guy doesn't have too many hats. Every time that lady would cut half a sandwich and have to go turn around and put something in the deep fryer or give something to the takeout guy, she's letting my half a sandwich on there get cold.
Yes, you're right. You're right. It was, and well, I mean, let's just go over real quick. I mean, the sandwich itself, I thought was good. Like the meat was good. I wasn't unhappy. I felt satisfied. It was tasty. But is it something I'd write home about? No. And the service, like you said, it wasn't the service like you would get at an authentic kind of deli. It was more like a bistro. But the smoked meat sandwich was good. The French fries were good. What about that chicken liver, though? How awesome was that?
That blew my mind. That was very creamy.
That was,
although I think if I had to do it again, it's not something to be shared. I need my own scoop.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were trying it, but I mean, the chicken liver was great.
I could woof up one of those. That was very creamy. That was mild and creamy. And the soda, I forgot if I got root beer or celery.
No, I thought we all got cream, didn't we?
Cream, right, It was cream. I never heard of that brand. And that was delicious.
Yeah, they had this brand that I never heard of either. But, yeah, we were noticing, and we're like Dr. Brown's fanatics.
It's called Virgil's.
Oh, that's right. It was Virgil's. Good man. And, it was really good. I hate saying it, but I actually enjoyed it more than Dr. Brown's.
Yeah, I mean, they should bring like a 32-ounce on the table.
Yeah, that was really good.
There's certain little things they could do to get that thing going. Get the ladies some help. You know what I mean? Cut them sandwiches. I tell you, when I was looking at her struggling with that knife, you know what I mean? It's like they get somebody straight out of high school trying to cut a deli meat.
Right.
I was almost thinking, like, bring us that chunk of meat and let us go for it.
Well, that's what we should do. We should go back there and experiment. Right. Let's go and say, look, we want a pound of smoked meat, but we don't want you cut. Just bring us the whole thing. Just a whole piece of it.
Pay for 3 sandwich worth, weight-wise. Bring me to think, because then I felt that I could have went for it and went for that's what that almost looked like as opposed to the cuts. See, another thing that I noticed too, that Katz's, now that I'm noticing, when they take a chunk out and they cut half of it, it's been on that board, and you come in, they'll put that back and get a fresh one because they always want that to be steamed. You don't leave that out and cut it to the bone because then it's getting cold.
Right, exactly, and it's not as juicy. You're losing the juice.
Yeah, now maybe in the igloo in Canada with the sled dog, that's what they do.
Right. Yeah, maybe they like it because they're used to it cold. They're like, what?
Yeah, it's cold by the time that you serve it on the igloo table. Is there igloos in Canada? I'm not even sure.
Probably further up,
like
I would think. Yeah, further up in Canada, I would think there might be. Oh, another thing, it was very small. That was the other thing too. We got there and we had to wait quite a while. You know what I mean? It was only like 3 tables. I guess it's more of like a takeout place.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. The girl is cutting the takeout and the thing.
Right. Exactly.
That didn't make any sense.
It was one girl and then one guy behind the counter. Yeah, it was just, it could have been a much better experience. Like if just food-wise, the food was good. I think everything except the pickle. The pickle, I was like, it's not, especially if you're going to pay for it. Who the hell charges you for a fucking pickle? But it wasn't worth it. I wouldn't pay $1.50 for that pickle again. But everything else that we had, the smoked meat, the French fries, the chicken liver, and the cream soda, it was all good. It was just the service was like.
They actually offered us. Remember in the beginning, the lady said, "Do you want the platter of meat and I give you the bread or something?"
Yes, it was.
Wasn't there something like that? And we didn't really know.
Well, I was going to do it, but you guys got the sandwich. I didn't want. I was like, let's just do the sandwich so we know we're talking about the same thing. But
maybe that's why they know that. They figure they can't cut this quick enough. They just give you the meat.
Right.
Give you the meat and go for yourself.
Well, it's a platter, so it was like double. It was 14 ounces instead of 7 ounces, so it was more money too. But it would have been better. Like I almost would have rather have that meat and like with a fork and dip it into like mustard. You know what I mean? As opposed to in a sandwich.
Yeah,
I think
and cut my own.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you, I've went to some delis, like little corner delis that are not even kind of like delis, and just tried to like get a pastrami sandwich. This beat that.
Yeah, of course.
This is top grade. It's just their spices are not as succulent.
Yes, if you're comparing it to Katz's or Sarge's or Second Avenue or any of those kind of places, it's grade B, I think. It gets a B instead of an A. But if you're comparing it to just, like you said, like just the average pastrami that you would get at a local deli, no, it was definitely a heads and tails above that. Heads and shoulders.
And you pointed out that the takeout was most of the people from the neighborhood grabbing a sandwich on the way home.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. And you said if you lived around there, and I probably would too, for what, $7 a sandwich was or something like that? $9?
No, it was
I don't know if it was 7 ounces for $9 or 9 ounces.
No, I think it was
$7.
7. It was 7 ounces, and I think it was like $7. Yeah, so it's a pretty good deal. And the thing is, again, like I would recommend it for everyone. If you're gonna go there, go takeout. That's my opinion. Just go to the window, tell them what you want, and go. It's not worth. The service wasn't great, and the place is a little tight and small. And like the doctor said, you're probably gonna get the meat cold. So you might as well just get it cold and take it home and nuke it for 10 seconds or something.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think. Listen, I think that what's going to happen in the future is you and I is going to have to get a piece of meat and come up with the Paulie Dr. Pastrami cut.
Ah, well, there we go.
We're going to have to come up with our own thing here.
Listen, you're going to have to go into your lab and start thinking of different ingredients. All right?
Right, because if they could sell that pickle for $1.50,
yeah,
and the cured in Listerine, then anything's possible.
We could like Omaha Steaks. We could like dry freeze it and send it. Or we can mail it out across the world.
Yes,
do it from
I think
this
is the thing. This would definitely work.
All right. Well, Dr. Pastrami, thank you again for all your wisdom, your culinary wisdom, and helping me and helping the fans realize the different places where they can go and what we should order and not order. I appreciate it.
Yes, and I will be continuing to do that, and I want to find some really good spots, though, to bring to people that's new and exciting, because my degree in culinary gastronomy should not go to waste. I majored in pastrami and minored in corned beef.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, so you got to put those student loans to good use.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, Paulie Z.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, there you go. So that, I guess, is the end of this episode. That concludes our show, and I hope you had a good time. This is Paulie Z. If you want to email me, it is yopaulie@thepauliezshow.com. Our website is thepauliezshow.com, and you can get all our episodes, including this one, on iTunes for free. No money. Just subscribe and download it. And my band's website is zo2.com, and my Twitter is twitter.com/zo2paulie. And I think that's it. I got all the plugs in there. So again, I want to thank Jeff Scott Soto, and I want to thank Dr. Pastrami, and of course all the fans for listening. And I'll see you next time. Later.